Being a new player in Grand Summoners is truly a struggle. In a lot of other gacha games, there's a thing called a honeymoon phase, where you get so many different mats, gear, units, whatever it might be, to really jumpstart your account. GS, you kind of get that. There's some rewards that you get upon logging in, but for the most part, the honeymoon phase, I feel like, isn't as crazy when it comes to the rewards in the very beginning. It's more so all the content that's at your disposal. You have an entire story mode to go through. You have all of the events, the side stories, crest palaces, these in-game modes that are called Summoner's Road, Dungeon of Trials, and even some limited time modes here and there. Even if the game piqued your interest a little bit, you would get a little giddy by how much content there is in this game, but this is kind of where it ends. The new player onboarding process is a little bad. Maybe you started during a crossover period, like Saitama is one of your favorite characters and you wanted to get Saitama. Well, congratulations, you got him, but now you have to ascend him. Since he is the ascended variant, you will need to use a max elixir that they do give you one for free, or you'll have to go tackle Summoner's Road. And as a brand new player, tackling Summoner's Road is pretty much completely off the table because you don't have enough units built and you definitely don't have enough equipment. They do try to remedy the unit part a little bit by giving you the summon lottery at the very beginning to just give you a bunch of random 5 stars that could maybe help out your account. But the big one here is the equipment. They don't really give you any kind of starter equips to go for, nor do they tell you like ways to get better equips that are actually good. Since you have to beat chapter 5 of the main story before you even unlock side stories, by the way, these side stories are where some of the better equips that are free to play are going to be at, you may only think that the giant boss equips are what you need to go for. And the thing is, a lot of giant boss equips outside of the ultra relics aren't that good anymore. There's a few that are still very prevalent in today's meta, but a lot of them are just throwaways, which means that in order for you to get some of the best equips in the game, you had to be here for a crossover event to farm the event to get the free-to-play equips from that, or just summon on various gacha equip banners, which are usually tied to seasonal events and crossover events. Since these right here, no matter what you say, are where some of the best equips in the game are gonna be. There's a few outliers, of course, like Grand Crusade and Mines equips that are insanely top tier, but let's be honest here, majority of the top tier equips come from crossover events. Which really sucks as a new player, because you may watch one of my videos or someone else's, or you may look up a guide on how to build this character that you just got, and you really like this character, and you see that they recommend equipment that you've never seen a day in your life, because something's from One Punch Man, or something's from Kill la Kill. It truly is like, oh, well, I guess I'm just gonna be extremely weak compared to everyone else, which unfortunately is gonna be the constant, I feel like, whenever you play any gacha game as a new player. But that catch-up period is way longer than it needs to be. There's no real help to get you on the right track, especially considering that you need a total of 12 equips for an entire team. It's not like other games where you only need like just one weapon, right? In GS, you need to summon or acquire 12 different pieces of equips to put onto your units, which does sound like a lot, I know, but it's not really as bad once you actually get going. It's just that initial step that is truly the hardest. And it truly does amaze me how there's no equips or other variations of god tier equips in the beginner missions. I don't think anyone would be opposed to it, especially with how old Grand Summoners is. Why not give new players one of each equip that is very, very strong? Like, for an example, Rens Outfit. I understand this is a 5-star magic that gives art gauge and magic damage, and there is technically a free-to-play alternative to this, which would be Halma's Hat, but why isn't there maybe like a beginner-friendly version that gives you maybe just a bit less art gauge? It's not as strong, but it's a good little like placeholder equip for you to use in the very beginning. I don't see why that's not a thing for every single gear type. I would love to see them give you a art gauge up equip for physical and magic, and a AoE Archin support item for new players. This isn't the only issue though, ladies and gentlemen. When you start nowadays in Grand Summoners, no matter when, you will always encounter a Ascended banner. These types of units are usually the strongest units in the game since they are Ascended. Not every Ascended unit is absolutely broken, but there's a very good handful that are. The thing is that Ascended units work differently than regular Awoken units. For Awoken units, you just fight the giant bosses, get the mats, awaken them. For Ascended units though, you have to go fight in Summoner's Road. Summoner's Road is an in-game activity that requires you to use 20 different characters, and if you use the maximum number of equips, 60 different equips. I will say you don't have to use 60 different equips. That's just if you try to fill out every single slot on each stage of this. And mind you, there's different versions of Summoner's Road. You have light, you have fire, you have dark. And depending on the day that you start, the unit that you got, you may not even be able to attempt this. Also, you're not going to be able to even finish 2 stages at most in Summoner's Road as a brand new player. Thankfully, they do give you that max elixir now, so you can just use a max elixir on an ascended character to instantly bring them up to their ascension. But once that max elixir is gone, damn bro, you are going to be struggling to get characters ascended early on. And that's mainly because Summoner's Road itself is more of an in-game activity than a new player one. And I don't really want them to change that because it's one of the very few end games that GS actually has. I think the best thing for GS to do is to implement some type of sweep feature, where if you're a new player, you could sweep each Summoner's Road once during your entire account, even if you haven't cleared it. So that way you can at least acquire all the Summoner Orbs from it, plus you would also complete any of the crossover missions if they were currently here. So you get a pretty decent stockpile of Summoner Orbs for each element that hopefully you could use for the next few characters you acquired until you kind of get a better team formed. Really, the main thing is that not clearing all the way up to stage 5, it's just having to constantly clear stage 1 and stage 2 as a brand new player is very mind-numbing and a very long process. I had to do this process as a brand new player in JP, and I'll let you guys know I feel for you. I truly do. It's not fun doing this. I really want new players that come into the game to actually stick with the game. And at the current moment, GS just isn't in a position to keep you as a new player really attached unless you just really love the game. It's very unique compared to any other gacha game. You don't really see this type of gameplay, the pixel art, the co-op missions, the bosses, all this type of stuff. This is a very, very unique gacha game that is currently on the market. And with us getting all these different crossovers, especially Farron in literally like a week, I know a lot of new players are going to come try to play this. And I would love for them to stick around, but I definitely feel like GS needs to change just a few things to really help out the new players with that early onboarding process. If you guys have any other suggestions or any way that you think new players could get a bit of a boost or just kind of help them a bit more in the early game, by all means, please leave it down below in the comment section. Maybe somebody from Next Ninja will see this video, look at some of the feedback, and take something from it. And if you are a new player, please leave what is frustrating you the most down below in the comment section. It could be something that you just need a bit of advice for, or it could actually be something that maybe the dev team could look into to make it a bit better. If you enjoyed this video, highly recommend you check out this one. It's my reaction to Farron coming to Grand Summoners Global. I'll meet you over there. Oh, and one more thing before you leave, don't forget to drink water.